we're walking it today. I'm moving, I'm mobile. And I am in the forest. I wanted to come today. Today is day 3 of my daily discussion of peculiar things that happened to me this week last year, leading up to July, July 26th, 2024, when my ex and his family locked me up, threw away the key. Didn't think I'd survive the trap that they set for me. They don't know me. That's what I learned. I learned this time last year that damn, I've been around people who don't know who the fuck I am. I'm India 360. And I've survived and suffered through mad shit. You could never keep me down. You could never just lock me up and create a narrative and get me to believe it. You might be able to get other people to believe it, but not me. Because I know who I am. I know where I come from. I know what I have survived and what I have suffered through. So you can never get me, not the way you think. So on today, July 24th, 2024, my ex's mother, who I have been calling my mother-in-law for years, calling this lady my mother-in-law. On today, she told me that she had a vendetta against me. And I thought that shit was suspect. I thought it was very weird and very strange. And I demanded her to elaborate. What the hell you mean you got a vendetta against me? I've never done anything to that lady. Never. And instead of explaining herself, and there were other people around. I was at her house when she said that. Her sons were there. Her other son's girlfriend was there. Dad was there. Everybody heard it. Nobody addressed it. And when I was trying to press to get an answer, it was just like, hush, hush, hush. Don't worry about it. And then I talked to my ex about it, like, yo, your mother just told me she has a vendetta against me. And I don't understand why she would say some shit like that to me. And what does it mean? I never did anything to this lady. And he just tried to push it under the rug, like, oh, that's just my mom. She be tripping. She be bugging sometimes. That's just how she is. She probably is in a mood. She said something she didn't really mean. And like, no, that's weird to say, especially because on that day I went over there. The reason I went over there is because I printed out some pictures of her granddaughter, my daughter. I printed out pictures for her and his grandmother because she was going to send her some pictures. And while I was at it, me being nice, what the hell is that? I'm in the woods. I looked at like some shit. So I brought the pictures over there for her. And as she was looking at the pictures of my daughter, she was like, this is my granddaughter. And I just have a vendetta against you. And I'm like, what? What type of shit is that to say? Why do you have a vendetta against me? What did I do to you? And she would not elaborate on it. And the more I pressed it, she just tried to change the conversation. I never let that shit go, yo. Hi, Sandy. Thanks for joining. How are you today? How's the weather where you're at? I never let that shit go. And then I tried to talk to my ex about it. And he just tried to brush it off. Like, get over it. Don't mean nothing. You're thinking too deep about it. Like, nah, that's weird. And then she's not elaborating. And prior to her saying that, they had started treating me bad. Like, the second The second I became a mom and I had that man's kid, yo, I started to meet the real people. I met the real him. I met the real mom, the real dad, everybody. All their masks fell off. And I started to see what I got myself involved in. But it wasn't until this week that shit really got amplified for me. So that's what happened. She told me she had a vendetta. Nobody wanted to elaborate on it. And I was just like, damn, every day some crazy shit is being said to me. Some crazy shit is being done to me. There's like weird energy, demonic energy that I'm around. And I keep trying to talk to my man about it. And he's just acting like it's normal. He was very not giving me no communication, one worded responses, all things that I could look back and dissect now. But at the time, I was like, damn, this week is weird. And then later on in the day, I had a conversation with my brother, which applies to the story because I haven't shared with you guys that my ex is, I made a good decision because they're at the park. My ex is my brother's friend. They went to high school together. And so some people might say, well, whatever you got, you deserve because you crossed the boundary. You shouldn't have been talking to your brother's friend. First of all, I don't abide by other people's rules and I don't listen to cliche bullshit. And I'm a grown ass woman. So I knew him 10 years prior because he'd always be at my brother's house. And then I've hung out with him as friends. That's when I used to drink and smoke and just pop our issue. And we would share stories about the people we were dating at the time. So I felt like we were just building a bond and we were cool. Like, you're cool at my brother's house. And then the couple of times that I had hung out with him, very platonic, we would just be talking about work woes, the people we were dating woes, and just bonding on that level. So I had built my own relationship with him in the 10 years that I knew him prior to that. And I wasn't doing anything to be spiteful. And plus, I'm grown. So there's that. But the reason I'm bringing up that later that day, after his mom told me she had a vendetta against me, the reason I'm bringing up that I spoke to my brother is because when I started dating him in 2014, my ex, me and my brother had a crash out, a falling out behind this and some other stuff. And he was upset that I started dating his friend. Everybody was upset that I started dating this man. There was a lot of signs that I look back on, a lot of red flags now. Nobody wanted me to be with this man. And I was just like, this is weird because this person just helped me through a depression, at least I thought. And this person just shows me, like, I've seen different sides of this person and the energy of like everybody, like they're trying to keep something good away from me. That's how I felt. That's how I was taken at the time. Anyways, I've digressed. My brother didn't like that I started dating his friend and we had a falling out behind that and some other stuff that happened from 2013 leading up to like me going into a depression and not hanging out with my family, not talking to them. And at the time everything was falling apart. So me and my brother didn't talk for 7 years up until I ended up having a baby in 2020. So we didn't talk for a long time. And so I'm saying that me talking to him on this day is important because I talked to my brother on the phone for 2 hours today, July 24th. My brother's birthday is July 29th. I always get my brother a present, send him something, no matter what. And I always talk to him on his birthday. So I talked to him on the phone, to him and my nephew, my youngest nephew, on the phone for 2 fucking hours. We laughed, we joked, we talked shit to each other, ha ha ha. And I ended the call like, yo, I'm going to come through over the weekend. I'm going to see you before your birthday or on your birthday because I got a gift for you. Like I always do. He's like, cool. I didn't think nothing of it, yo. And then 2 days later, I found myself being admitted to the hospital by this man who's his friend, who's telling these people that he's my husband, he advocates for me, and that I lost my mind. It was just a lot of strange shit happening, yo. So, like I said, this week is the prequel of all the stuff that was leading up. So, the prominent things that happened today, this time last year, was my ex's mom telling me she has a vendetta against me. Basically, that she hates me, she doesn't like me, and she has an issue with me being the mother of her first granddaughter. And on top of that, when I had my daughter, they were trying to say that they not sure if it's his kid because they don't birth girls in their family. Mind you, his mom is one of 13 and 10 of them are girls. And they got three boys. I was like, so there's a lot of stuff that was just like, this shit is weird. And I don't know what I've attached myself with. I don't know what I attached my daughter to. And I really couldn't understand why she told me she had a fucking vendetta against me. But that's what she said, and she didn't explain that shit. But I found out later, found out a couple days later what she meant by it. It was the stirring of the pot. Some shit was brewing, which I knew. I knew something was gonna happen to me soon. I just didn't know what and how. So that's why I'm replaying it, reliving it, talking this shit out loud because it has been a year and my life has been uprooted because of this whole ordeal that happened last July leading into August. And I have more clarity and I have less emotion to talk about the shit I went through. And I really want to share my story, share my testimony to help other people. And I mean, like, this is just the surface of the shit that happened to me, from choosing to love the wrong man, choosing to put my effort, energy, and my all into somebody who didn't like me from Jumpstart, who was just using me. You know, in 2013, when I went into my depression and I basically cut everyone off, and I was not wanting to be around nobody. I was going into my own isolation. I was going into my own COVID before COVID. And he like snuck his way in, being super nice to me and like, no, you need a friend, you need somebody here. So, because you're going through a hard time. Like I said, he knows my family. He knows what had happened to me back then. So at the time, it seemed like he was being a really good friend, but he was just using me. And I didn't know the depths of how far this shit would go. I really didn't know. And if anybody would have ever told me that this shit would play out the way that it did, I wouldn't have believed them. And as a matter of fact, I have a cousin. When I got pregnant, she told me that she had a dream that we wouldn't be together and that he was going to be the downfall of my life and that he wasn't going to be a part of my success. And we got into a whole argument behind it because I was like, oh, you're just being a hater. You don't want my relationship to work. You don't want, like, and why are you telling me this and I'm pregnant? My relationship's good. Everything's amazing. This is the best relationship I ever had. Look at the stuff that we're doing, we're building, we're creating. Little did I know, you're just using me to try to get to another level up. I didn't know. So the shit gets deep. But those are the two things that happened on this day that when I look back on them now, it will be relevant. It will definitely be relevant for the 26th and moving forward. I'm going to be sharing my daily journals of everything that was going on that day because this time last year I was very confused and I had no clarity as to what was happening. I didn't know why. I could not connect the dots. I could not understand why this man did this to me, I couldn't understand any of the stuff that I'm reflecting on now that makes 110% sense. So my ex, his family, my family, I don't fuck with any of these people. I already wasn't fucking with my family because of other prior shit I've been through with them. But this was a very eye-opening experience of what happened to me because of this man and how he was connected simultaneously with my family to show me just how much I've been surrounded by people who do not like me, who would love to see my downfall, who would love to see me not make it and be successful and make anything of myself. So life is funny, God is funnier, and life takes us to unexpected places if you allow it. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in today to my India talk. And hello. Hi, 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 hi. Oh, I said hi to Sandeep and hi to, I do not know how to pronounce your name. Is this German? Hi. Al Almayo. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know how to pronounce your name and I don't want to mess it up, but I hope that you guys are having an amazing day. I'll be back tomorrow on the 25th to explain some stuff that happened on that day that led into the 26th, a day that I will never fucking forget, a day that totally, a day that totally changed my entire life. I will never be the same. I will never be the same after that day. I'm not the same person. I don't have the same outlook. I don't have the same goals. I don't have the same wants. I don't have the same desires. I don't have the same dreams. I'm just a totally different person because of this experience. And so I'm happy to show up for y'all, to share it with you with complete vulnerability and complete transparency. And I hope that you learn from me and take away some stuff that you can apply to your life, no matter where you are in the world. And okay, thanks for tuning in from Brazil. You're awesome. You win. Thank you. Thank you for saying that because I was feeling at the beginning of the year like, oh, he won. He took everything from me, yo. And everything I built, everything that was in my name. I was carrying this man. Everything was in my name. And he just gets to take everything and just discard of it, sell stuff that I bought for him to manifest his dreams, his desires, his wants. At least that's what he said. And it was all a lie. It was all a facade. And here I am starting over. Starting over. At first, I was feeling like I'm starting over from scratch. But the reality is that I'm starting over from experience. So much experience because I literally spent the last 10 years personally developing. I don't watch TV, I read books. I teach myself mad shit. Languages, business, sales, marketing, advertising, and I've done so many things. So because of this person who had me on a crazy roller coaster ride. So I do agree with you. I do win. I just did a whole video earlier today on my other socials about how you should not sign up to be somebody else's ride or die because you will ride and ride and ride and ride and ride until you die. And a lot of times, if you are not have enough discernment, you will physically die. But in the process of riding, 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 you emotionally, mentally, and spiritually die for somebody else, trying to prove how ride or die you are, how valuable you are, how you'll do anything for them, and they will drain, drain, drain you because they're energy vampires and they don't care about how much you do. And when you try to prove how much you do, they'll turn around and say, I never asked you to do that. And it leaves you in a state of confusion like, well, that's just how I am. You don't have to ask. I would do that for you because you would hope that they would turn around and do it for you. They'll turn around and do you dirty. So you're right. I am a winner. I am gonna win. I do win. And this is just a testimony of the things that I went through. So thank you guys for tuning in. And I'll be back tomorrow with the last day of the prequel of what happened to me that leads into Saturday. Last year it was Friday. So I'll be super excited on Saturday, because Saturday is where it gets good. Saturday is when the whole day was, I knew some shit was gonna happen to me that day. I knew it. But every day reflecting back, I'm like, yeah, there was so many signs. There were so many things that happened. So the Saturday, I'm gonna be tuning in, and I'll be wearing a dress. The last thing I did on Friday of last year, the 26th, the last thing I did was go into a boutique that I had been begging that man. It was right at the end of the street that we lived on. I had been begging him to go in there and buy me a dress because I had loved that lady's clothing that she had in the boutique. And he told me no. That's all he told me. And so on that day, the last thing I was able to do was go and buy this dress that I haven't worn. And so I'll be wearing my dress to share my testimony about how that man kicked me and his daughter out the house at 7 a.m. And by 5 o'clock p.m., I was mentally insane. According to my husband, who's not my husband. And how the fuck does that happen? Stay tuned. Have an amazing day. I love you guys. And in the meantime, in between time, don't forget to turn your life into a lifestyle.